welcome back to eXpose Experience, and shout out to Always a Handful for the lovely cakes as well as and coffee for
For the
this wonderful
coffees.
coffee.
Yes.
And today we have our guest, Zubaidah. You want to introduce ourselves to eXpose viewers?
Yes.
Hi everybody, I'm Zubaidah. By training, I'm an occupational therapist, and I've been in the industry for about 14 years now. Wow, that's long. Coming to think about it.
Really long time.
So interestingly, like my career trajectory has moved from one field to another. So that means to say from one setting to another, from a restructured hospital, and then after that it went to a community hospital, and then now I'm currently in a medical center. So why I said that I'm a trained occupational therapist, because that's not the only thing that I do. So currently I'm leading a team of therapists, which is both physiotherapists as well as an occupational therapist. And I lecture part-time or an invited lecturer in Singapore Institute of Technology, which is SIT.
Okay, interesting. So then, can you explain to our viewers a little bit about
Your
occupational
occupation in general.
therapy?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in
Okay.
layman terms, if possible.
Okay, I'll try. So a lot of times when someone asks me like, oh, what is occupational therapy?
Mm.
Is it the same as physiotherapy? I will have to say it's similar but different. So what's similar about it? We do deal with muscles and strengthening and the anatomy of the body, the physiology. However, what's different about it is that we deal more of function into daily of activity living. And one distinctive feature that's distinguished between OT and physio is that the OTs tend to do more mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, as well as mainly there's the main difference between depression and things like that for mental health conditions.
Okay. Okay, then so being an occupational therapist, like, would you want to like tell us more about how your day to day maybe is like, you know?
That's a bit hard right now because as an occupational therapist, I mean, it depends on where you are in your career.
Okay.
So when you first start, you'll be a junior therapist, and then moving on in your career, you'll be a senior, and then maybe you'll be leading a team. So it really varies when you start off. It's really just usually patient care. But typically, I'll just give the spectrum. So when you're a junior, when you come to work, usually there'll be like a meeting to start off the day to ensure that your patients are all right, which patients are ready to be seen, and then when you see your patients, and then maybe you'll have a session with your senior to just
Okay.
go through your cases to just make sure that they're safe, and then you're doing the right intervention or you're providing the right kind of therapy for your patients. As you move on into your senior role, you get to take on a bit more responsibilities. So things like you may be given students, and then apart from that, you will also be given junior therapists under your charge, as you can tell just now. So it's mainly for guidance and mentoring the junior staff as well. And then moving on, up the career spectrum as you get more senior and things like that, you get involved in different projects, be it internal projects or external projects. So these projects may involve projects with the Ministry of Health, projects with Agency of Integrated Care, different organizations. Say for example, if you're working with one hospital, then maybe one hospital with another hospital. So it varies from the career spectrum as a whole. So not one therapist will have a similar kind of day. So it's
Every
really
day is a
dynamic.
different day.
Yeah, correct. So it's very, very dynamic.
Okay. So like you mentioned earlier, like all your day-to-day life is different, right? So what are the challenges that you have to face? Like one of the memorable one.
I think as one of the main challenges would definitely be when you're a junior therapist, and then you have to meet the demands of not just your patient but also the family member. So for example, maybe a patient who may have a massive stroke, and then but the expectations of the family member is sometimes family finds it very hard to accept the fact that their loved ones are not able to function as what they were before the condition. So like for example, if you have a massive stroke, it's very difficult, or sometimes it can be very challenging to go to your pre-morbid function, or that means to say the function before your condition. And then the family member can actually be very demanding, like, you're not doing enough as a therapist. But actually we're providing the best that we can. It's just that sometimes physiologically from the patient's recovery, be it because of age or be it because of the medical condition itself, it's very hard for them to recover to what they were before the condition. So then I think the challenging is also managing expectations between family members, what they want for the patient, and sometimes what the patient want for themselves. So another one, it will be definitely patients who are on palliative care. Sometimes it's very challenging because like the family members get overprotective and say that, oh no, I do not want my mom or my dad to know their condition, But from a patient's perspective, I want to know, like, like how many days I have left or something like that, for closure for whatever reason. So these are the kind of challenges that the therapists usually meet. And then definitely as you move on your career spectrum, there'll be different challenges as you go ahead. So as you move on in your career, the other challenges will definitely be how do you balance your time between seeing patients and your projects, and also professional development as well. So yeah, I would say that's it.
Okay.
So do you have any some of the people or things that have helped you overcome your challenges?
Yeah, I think one of the main resource would definitely be my faith in God, and I'm always asking God to show me like the right path or right direction, or what is the best decision to make, because sometimes it's very difficult to make decisions at that point in time. So you just pray that whatever, like based on your intuition, okay, this is it. So far that's been very helpful. And I think, and I always believe that if you have good intentions, then that's where the energy flows. And so far it's been working out well for me. Apart from that, definitely my parents. I think one of the greatest thing that your parents can give to a child is definitely financial freedom. So when you guys get old and when you guys get married, make sure that you can put your kid through university without any debt, because I think that helped a lot, and that kind of like kick-started my savings, my career, and it kind of exponentiate your financial freedom for me. So definitely my parents, and then
Very
I
good
mean,
point.
yeah, really, really, definitely, because you won't be in debt, right? And then when you, because I know that some of my friends, when they start work, they have to pay like their education loan, and then you also want to save, that kind of thing. So when you don't have that debt, that money that you have, you can actually put it onto yourself and spend other things for personal or professional development.
Okay, so then before like about this whole occupational therapy thing, you said that you've been in this for about like 14 years already. Like, how did you know that? How do you get into this, and how did you know that you want to do this as a career? Because it sounds like
Hard for us to like figure out things what we want to do in life.
for the youngsters, and it's also something that like not a lot of people know, and
like you're really passionate about, like to do this for your life.
I think you really never know what you want, to be honest. So the advice for the young ones out there, or the younger generations, younger viewers, I'm not that old, I think what you want to do will definitely change over time, right? I wanted to be an air stewardess one point, teacher one point, and then I think it will evolve as you go. But then at the point in time after my JC, I think I went through the process of elimination. So I didn't like physics, so definitely engineering and whatever that has got to do with maths is out. I didn't want to be I didn't want to like sit in an office. So definitely things like administration or whatever is out. So through that process of elimination, the I would say the faculty that appeared to me was like healthcare. And then so it was either doctor, nurse at that point in time was a very favorite, or like health, which was very foreign to many. Then I didn't want to, so I found out a bit more. Then I didn't want to do night shift So that means to say doctor and
Yeah.
nurses are out. So that's
Mhm.
left with me with OT and PT, right? Occupational therapy and
Okay.
physiotherapy.
Mhm.
So I had an attachment with both professions when after A levels to just to find out a bit more of what's the difference between occupational therapy and physiotherapy. And I really like occupational therapy because they incorporated a lot of modalities such as art and craft, drama, music, even paint. I mean, yeah, painting and media and things like that. So there's a bit more creativity and a bit more freedom to explore more modalities, I would say, to incorporate that in your treatment session.
I see.
Yeah, okay, because I read that like you develop occupational therapists like develop treatment programs to help your clients relearn basic like skills. Is that right? So
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
do you want to give like maybe like some general examples if you can? Yeah, about like, I mean not like treatment plan but like just like maybe like an action. Yeah.
Okay, so usually I think for a patient with stroke, that's very relatable. So once you have a patient or a person that has gotten that condition, which is a stroke, then they have one-sided weakness.
Yeah.
So for example, your right side is weak, so you can't write, right? Or you can't feed yourself, or even comb your hair, or even button.
Right.
So then these are the things and the activities that we will do. We will do retraining, we will do muscle re-education, and then for example, you can't even type.
Yeah.
So that's where work hardening comes in, and then
Okay.
return to work program comes in. So that's where the occupational therapy comes in to make sure that you can type as fast as before, or at least close to before the stroke, or you can even multitask. That's where cognition comes in, right? Your attention span, your memory.
Right.
Because if you were to think about it, even when you are doing assignments and as you type, there's a lot of cognitive and motor movement that goes on.
The coordination and the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where occupational therapy come in. So we will try and integrate all these systems together, and hopefully to bring a client to be as independent as possible, despite the condition that they have.
Right. So you like it's what I heard the term is like an enabler.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yes. Did my research beforehand. I thought
Well
it was
done, Zo.
Well done to
Thank
Zoo.
you. Yeah, because when I was doing research, I thought it was a very meaningful kind of job. Yeah, even though like I mean I've never really. I mean I think because it's more specialized. So I
Very
mean
niche
in terms of
section,
healthcare
yeah.
industry, you never really hear this kind of things. I mean,
Yeah.
when I think healthcare, I think nurses or like maybe like palliative care. So then when like I was thrown this topic of occupational therapy, that I was like, huh? All the question mark come out like gong 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 all. So it's like I don't know. Yeah. So like so blur. I was like, what is this? It sounds so chim, you know. It's like, very unassuming.
Yep.
Yeah. So then I mean in terms of healthcare industry, as like occupational therapies, because has there been any like perceptions or misconception about like occupational therapies?
Yeah, of course. So usually people when they hear occupational therapy, because you always read what's your occupation, which means your job, right?
Right.
So then when you tell people, I'm an occupational therapist, do you mean to say you find for people job? Yeah. Yeah. So no, so basically there's a history behind it. So occupational therapy comes from a Greek word called occupeo. And occupeo means activities that's meaningful to you. Yeah, so occupational therapy is a therapy that provides rehabilitation for patients or people having difficulties doing their meaningful activities and returning them back to that function as best as they can.
Okay.
Yeah.
In your years of career, has there been like any one incident, positively or negatively, whichever you want to choose, that has really like made an impact on you?
Impact, I think I always remember this story because it always make me laugh. So I was a very junior therapist back then. I think when I first started, and then I was very excited to see my patient, and then she had a hip fracture. So the curtains were drawn. So I thought they were doing like some form of dressing or things like that, but she wasn't. As in she was alone there. She was just lying down, and then she was just closing her eyes. So I thought she was sleeping, and then she was just like like moving her mouth like that. So I say, it's a Malay Muslim auntie, by the way. So I said, makcik, nak bangun exercise. Then she ignored me, and then she continued mumbling. I couldn't hear what she was saying because she was just mumbling. So I said again, makcik, therapy, nak exercise. Then she still ignored me. Then I'm like, makcik, saya nak exercise. Then she opened her eyes. I'm praying lah. So she was actually praying when she was doing that. Then it dawned on me that actually when we see our patients, we don't take that into consideration. Like even as a Muslim myself, like, you know, like, did we ask our patients, like, do you want to pray and things like that? So these are the subtleties that it kind of stick with me because it was a very funny yet I should have thought about it, right? Yeah.
Funny yet very
Then I was like, oh my god, like because you know, as a Muslim, like, you can pray at different positions should you not be able to, be it sitting down, lying down, or even standing up. I mean, that's a normal one, but we have never really taken that into account as a therapist. Especially when you first started out, you're just very excited to, you know, see your patient and get things going. Then I'm like, okay, so that was very I would say a very funny yet a positive thing for me to also reflect on, to also think about what do my patient really need, and how can I bring therapy to be more meaningful to them at which time point in their lives, and how do I make my treatment session more fun and engaging lah, rather than you know being more like oh, you have to go for therapy, that kind of thing.
Okay, I have a question. Do you have any emotional attachment to any of your patients that you like do with them? Like,
emotional attachments. I think as you grow into the profession, you learn how to detach. So sometimes you do get attached, or you feel very emotionally attached to this case. So one of the case that I also remember is like a guy who's like 40 years old, and then he had a stroke, a massive stroke. So then he couldn't work because he's the sole breadwinner, and then after that he has 4 children, of which all of them are schooling, and then the youngest is like maybe 8 months old.
Whoa, that's
so these kind of cases like do get to you, but you know that there's only so much that you can help. So I think as you move along in your career, you're like, okay, this is the best that I can give my patients, and then after that it's really you passing on to be it a social worker or something else where the system or the process has to take on its own.
I see. Okay.
So like there's as much like as in like in your circumstance that you can help, there's only this much, but overall is the whole like healthcare system, social welfare system in Singapore to really help these people that may be in more unfavorable circumstances with their unfortunate like accidents lah.
That's true.
That's very interesting.
So that's one of the reasons why I think like we're moving towards community services and things like that. So the healthcare system and the social system are also linking and working closely hand in hand together, because I think not one can stand on its own, and then we really have to collaborate.
So for those youngsters,
you do have like advice for them for this career path?
Correct. What should they keep in mind if they want to pursue this career path?
I think so. Usually, when they want, I think you really have to know what are your strengths. Is it some, and it's not something that how do I put it? It's not like it's not a desk bound job. So sometimes when some of the students come to me and then like so especially when attachment, and then they're just waiting for your supervisor to like say what to do and stuff like that. It's not a job where your supervisor needs to tell you what to do.
So you have to initiate.
So you need to be very proactive in this kind of job. You need to know yourself, definitely. Like so for example, like you see a patient or an elderly that's like maybe had an accident, you cannot be crying, you know. So there are some people who cannot see fracture or blood or whatever, you know. So you really need to know yourself, like, is this something that you really want to do? Because when you invest in that kind of education, it's quite a big sum of money from the system and also from your parents. So you also wouldn't want to switch career later on. So it has to at least stick for a while, right? So I think one of the good things that they should do, or advisable thing that they should do, is to actually ask for attachment.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean with
Really.
COVID now it's a bit difficult,
Yeah.
but at least like a day of observation or things
Yeah.
like that to actually see
Mhm.
what's happening, and
Mm.
it's not like their expectation and the reality meets, so that they're
Mhm.
aware of
Right.
what is expected of them once they
Mm.
graduate as an occupational
Yeah.
therapist, or be it from any other profession altogether.
Correct.
Yeah, then have a chat with people who are in the profession.
Yes.
Yeah, you know that like, you know, because I know that some of the younger generation are very keen about, career prospects, how is it like, you know, that kind of
Yes.
thing.
Mhm.
Where can we hope to contribute to society better? So yeah, have a chat with seniors or people who are in the profession to have an idea of what is to come, and where the healthcare landscape is moving. So you know that, okay, so this is where I can contribute better
Okay.
and create an impact. Because I find that the younger generation, or even my students, they are very keen in making impact to
Yes.
society.
Yeah. You want to give back to the society.
Yeah. So you need to also know that whatever you learn in this course is in line with your goal of making an impact. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Very thoughtful, very wise words for our fellow friend, our fellow students. Thank you very much. I
Yes.
think I will share this to my friends who are in healthcare.
Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
The nursing
Okay.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I have a lot of friends
Yeah.
that are in nursing. I do acknowledge and I do see that, wow, their attachments like are quite like crazy.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, because we have like holidays, right? And then
Mm.
like you see your friends go on attachment. Like you
Mm,
say like,
yes.
are you free next week? Then it's like, oh no, I got 2 week attachment.
Mm.
Then it's like 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
Then like, you know, when you meet them after their shift and they're so
like
tired.
Yeah.
And I heard stories like, especially when they're so young, right? Then they maybe get emotionally attached. But then
correct.
their like client,
They're
I don't-
still
I can't-
naive.
it's
lah,
like they
still
the
new.
client or pass on.
Mm.
Then it's, you know, when you're there as a friend, sometimes you don't know what to do. Sometimes it's just like,
Just lend a listening ear.
yeah.
Yeah. Just pat your back. Okay, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, my friend got really affected because she was in her first year.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that
Because of the passing of a patient.
yeah,
Okay.
that really like made me like see like people in the healthcare industry. Yeah,
Mm.
because
They're like the
Yeah.
unsung heroes.
really,
Yeah.
Mm.
Not all heroes wear capes. That's
Yeah.
what I learned.
really.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Very, very true.
Okay. Do you have any more questions?
So far I'm good. And do you have any questions for us?
So far, how do you think, or do you find occupational therapy interesting?
Yes, it's very interesting. I mean, it's physiotherapy I've heard of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Occupational therapy
Yeah.
I've never heard of.
Same.
And it's just interesting how you guys help to enable, because I find it very meaningful, because it gives like your cases or clients, I don't know which is the better term to use, what I call it, it empowers them again,
Yeah.
because I
Like, be
mean
back
to
on their feet again
Yeah.
after a very traumatizing experience, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
yeah, so in terms of I can't function my sorry, this one can cut a bit. Okay, whew, my flow got cut off.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay, chill.
Yeah.
Home.
You think?
How do I continue?
what is it you want to say?
Yeah, I need to my thought process flow.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, okay, for me, this is the first time that I heard occupational therapy. Like Zul said, I only heard about physiotherapy, about like walking and helping them to like, you know, do their daily muscles to work again as per normal. But yeah, as for that, this is something new that I've learned. Like, it is eye-opening, and I hope that it will be more encouraged for the younger generations to do this career path. It's like giving back to the society as well. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so I mean the whole healthcare sector, I think youngsters, there can be negative perceptions on it. I mean, I think because it's from our parents.
Shifts also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough work. I think
Mhm.
they need to recognize that
Yeah,
it is
really
tough
respect
work.
all the healthcare workers
Yeah.
during this time as well.
So
Yeah.
as an occupational therapist, in terms of like your as a occupational therapist, as sorry,
Distracted by the
okay, as an occupational therapist, I mean, aside from hands-on cases like with your clients, I mean, they have family members, and how would you like? Because I know you said earlier that you sometimes it can be a bit of a struggle to deal with them, because it may just be a bit of misunderstanding. Then maybe like, would you just want to like offer like a piece of thought, or you want to say something to them to just like
Give them
like
peace in mind lah.
peace in mind, or
Yeah.
like let them know something that it's
is progression. It's like in a way.
Sorry,
Is it because of the coffee?
my brain a bit like halfway. Okay, I'll restart. Okay, so as an occupational therapist, you, aside from just dealing with the clients,
Yep.
you also have to deal with the family members of the client. So what are some things that you want, some words that you like to say to them? Because I know you do struggle with them sometimes. Then like just to clear a bit of misunderstanding, or to give a bit of perspective from your side.
I think it's very important to know that healthcare professionals are also human. Yeah. And then I think it'll be appreciated that the family members do speak to us with proper courtesy and not shout, because you do sometimes get that, like family members not happy with something, and sometimes it's just, I also understand that they are frustrated with whatever that's happening, emotionally and things like that. But there's always a better way to deal with it. So I mean, it's just like you talking to a stranger. You wouldn't want to talk to a stranger, right? So I think if I were to say, I think I would say on behalf of all my healthcare professional, doctors, nurses, all alike, please speak to your healthcare professional gently and treat us with respect, and not like say the four-letter words or vulgar words. I mean, when things don't go their way, be it long waiting hours and things like that. Yeah.
Because they have to understand that you are working long hours as well, and they're not the only patient that you have to treat also, because you have other
correct.
patients
I
as
mean,
well.
we can understand that sometimes it can be very long, especially when we the waiting time and things like that, be it for the doctor or whatever, which happens, but it was also because of so many reasons, because there's a lot of more patients, of patients that's sick as well. So I think not only just be kind lah, and then be nice.
Yes,
Think to everyone.
Yeah.
To everyone, replace the four-letter word with the kind four-letter word.
Yes.
Is it kind? Kind?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
My brain functioning today is showing. So thank you for joining us for eXpose Experience today. As always. Sorry. So thank you for joining us for eXpose Experience today. And we have always a handful cakes as well as coffee. They brought this episode to you. And
sponsored by them. Yes.
Remember to like their Instagram pages, as well as don't forget to like eXpose pages, our own pages, and we'll catch you next episode. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.